Welcome back, everybody, and we've got Byron Mitchell here in part 2 of his program that you may have watched a couple of weeks ago. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing the South African Endurance Championship, where Byron and myself took part in. And also be sure to stay tuned for Byron's hot lap at the end. There's a big surprise waiting for you there. There goes your man. You've just won King of the Hill. But let's get back to the endurance series that you and I then did together.
Yeah.
That was an achievement of note, certainly for me. And without you and your dad's team, we would never have been able to achieve that. We were against all odds. I mean, there were guys with budgets in excess of 20 million rand for the year, and I think we spent just less than 1 million rand. And we probably had, you know, if you look at, we came 5th overall in the 9-hour, which is the last double pointer at Kyalami. But at that stage, the competition was immense. I mean, you know, for the series, for the year, you know, we beat guys with the likes of Stuart White, Nick Adcock, and all the incredible cars that they've got.
Got to be in it to win it.
Got to be in it to win it. And I mean, they had some really bad luck. I mean, I think on the 9-hour, Stuart White didn't make the pit exit within 5 minutes of the end of the race.
Yeah, it closed.
And I think Nick Adcock won that event, but skipped a couple of races during the year. Obviously had international duties, racing overseas, etc. But all those things play a role. And I mean, the strategy, you know, of finishing every race that we had was really incredible. I mean, the way that the strategies changed throughout the year, you know, for each race.
We went from, okay, what can the car do, to, okay, let's just finish. It was getting to the point where we knew if we just finished, we were going to be in a good position at the end. And I'll never forget that 9-hour. I mean, at the end of the year.
Gosh.
Jeez, the struggles we had throughout the year with the heating issues, and then the one where that Porsche hit, we made contact with a Porsche at Red Star. And then there was what happened at Swart Corps? Oh, I spun in the last. No, the Cobra spun in the last.
He hit us,
And I was coming through there, and he pulled out and drove into the side of us. And he just broke the whole rear suspension.
And those things are so
And
hardy.
at that point, we were done. We were done.
Yeah.
That was actually quite an incredible finish, because I mean, we were literally done. You guys looked at the problem.
Yeah.
What was broken?
So the rear suspension bracket, right, holding the rear, it was the rear left suspension bracket. The rear left lower suspension bracket had broken, and the suspension was like, you know, was hanging loose. And we couldn't get to it because you've got 2 exhaust pipes, and it was so hot that we couldn't put our hands there. I mean, I didn't want to put one of the mechanics there or my hand there, you know.
Oh, we all had mitts.
No, you weren't with us, I think, that year.
Because I remember the dust and everything that was going on there as well.
So I remember you came, and then you said, no, we're out, and we were all bummed. And
yeah, because, I mean, well, you guys actually said, we don't have enough time. We need to call it 30 minutes to fix it. We had 45 minutes left of the race.
Yeah.
And we can't get in there now. It's too hot. And there was this unbelievable sort of look on everyone's face, like, we're done.
He's trying to find
and I'm like,
I've still got my burn mark.
Yeah, really?
I think it was this arm. Yeah, I've still got it. Here it is. Yeah, I'll show you now.
And we literally, you guys turned around to me, and I mean, you know, me not as technically involved in what the actual injury to the car was. You said we just won't get it done in time. And at that stage, I think we were lying 3rd.
Yeah, we were high up, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and
you came to us,
and you guys said, "No, we're done." Okay, we're done. So you gave me the transponder.
Yeah, and
I went up to the office with all the directors sitting up. The race directors were all sitting in the same place at the same time, where you hand in your transponder, and I said, "Oh, guys, I'm so sorry we're out. We just can't fix that damn car in time." And they turned around and said, "All you need to do is finish this race, and you'll get a third place."
Yeah, because a lot of the other cars were also having big problems. We didn't know.
There was problems out there, and all we needed, we'd complied with the 60% or whatever it is.
I think it's 75%.
75%.
The race, yeah.
And we just needed to get that car over the line.
Yeah.
So I said, "Really? We'll get a podium? We'll get classification if we finish?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "I'm going back to the team." No, I hung on to my transponder, came back, and I said, "Guys, we just need to finish. If we crawl over the line, with the enthusiasm that you guys all dived into that car, you burnt your arm."
Yeah, I've still got it here. What happened, I'll never forget. So me and John T started stripping, and we got it off, and we got the bracket off.
You were pouring water where you could.
So Fani was there with the airline trying to cool off the exhaust pipe. Alray was trying to take like a spray bottle and trying to spray the engine, and so it was a little bit cooler.
Stuff,
yeah. And obviously you don't want to just pour cold water onto it because it can,
Correct.
And John T said, "No, we don't have time for this, guys." So John T started and I started in there. I said, "Right, let's do it." And we took
both burnt your hands,
we took
fingers.
it off. And I'll never forget, we couldn't get the nut on the bottom because it was that K-nut. We had got the bracket on and everything, and we couldn't get that nut on. And John T was burning his hand. I said, "Brew, give it to me." And the mentality of, okay, it has to be done, just
the
kicked
adrenaline.
in. And I held my hand. Like you can see, I've still got a little mark on my arm there.
Yeah.
I held my hand on that exhaust pipe, and I knew that if it doesn't go on, it's not going on. And we got that nut on and we tightened it, and I immediately walked away and went and put some water and washed my arm a bit. But it was like already
burn mark,
bubbling, whatever you want to call it. It was proper. It was proper.
Blistering, yeah.
And then I said, and then Jonty and them quickly, after that happened, they quickly put all the rest of the bolts on and got it right, and we got the engine cover on. And I mean, what we made, straight after I'd washed my arm, I put my suit on, put my helmet on, got in the car, and I think we made it out with like a few seconds to spare.
Yeah, couple
Just
of
before
seconds
it
to
closed,
spare.
yeah.
Literally a few seconds, yeah.
Unbelievable. And of course, you had a half-baked car. That,
It
was so slow.
trotted. You couldn't really do the repair. But we did it.
Yeah,
and
the wheel alignment was knocked. The one arm was still bent, but we knew we had to replace this
Just
one
cross the
part
line.
to get the car to be able to roll and drive. So we went and we just drove around. I think we were like a minute a lap slower than what we should have been.
Yeah, no,
but at that point it was just
we crawled
finished.
over, yeah.
And when we did it, that was a
It
good.
was unbelievable. I mean,
I think that was our first trophy. It was
Was
our
that our
first
first?
trophy. Yeah, was that one, and then we got Red Star afterwards.
Yeah. And we got these. So this is how we went through the whole year. I mean, it was a mammoth effort by everybody.
And the thing I think I learned through that year, so importantly, is like, I mean, I look at the world and a lot of the drivers in the world, and this is what, it upsets me a bit, but it's the way life goes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of the drivers, the younger drivers coming up, know nothing really about the cars. They get in the car, they drive, they get out, they go home.
They
That's it.
pay for a team.
They pay for a team to run the car. And the thing with me that makes me so unique, in my opinion, and I mean, a lot of people know this, my family, you, my friends,
Well, I know it for sure.
is I know every single bolt on my own car, on that Juno. I know how that gearbox, I know everything because I do the work on the car. I mean, I build the car when we do it. I can tell you now that it's the diffuser, to take the diffuser off on your car is probably one of the hardest things I've done in my life. That rear diffuser is a mission. But that's what makes it so unique, in that when something goes wrong, I get out the car and I say straight, I think there's a problem with the rear right suspension, or I'll say to my dad, there's something wrong here. And true as hell, and I've been very, very lucky that 80%
No, but that's
of the
because you've
time,
got the technical knowledge. I mean, I don't know any other race drivers that actually strip their own cars and put them back together again like you do. And you working with your dad in engineering works, you're actually involved in the manufacture of the parts. You know exactly what they do, how much stress that thing needs to take before it breaks.
Yeah,
and the heat, etc. And, obviously with your dad being an engineer and manufacturing these parts, and you working in his factory, in his engineering works, churning out parts, and the way that you worked on that car, I mean, it's. I think who was the other guy in the Formula One? Was it Michael Schumacher that used to get heavily involved?
Yeah, it was Michael, and Ayrton Senna used to as well.
Yeah,
and it was Niki Lauda was actually the biggest one. Niki Lauda was the one that took Ferrari from where they were to like up at the top at 1 year or a few years.
And I
You
mean
would redesign that car.
that's what makes you such an incredible driver, and the tenacity and the sort of will to do better and to make this thing work and to know that it's not actually working like it should work.
Yeah.
And in your brain immediately, it's like when I fly an aircraft, I know if something's happening, I know exactly where the problem is. And you like that with a race car, you sort of one in with that race car, and that's why you're also able to teach Kelly a couple of tricks and so on. And I mean, you've come up. How many years have you been racing, Kelly?
I started at the end of 2020. So
That's not long ago. Yeah.
No, it wasn't long.
Bear in
And
mind,
before
you've been
that,
racing for 20 years.
yeah, before that, I didn't have any racing experience. So it was just I drove Byron's Golf Mark 1 with him, and I couldn't even reach, obviously, because it's set for a tall person like Byron. So I'm like barely reaching the pedals. I had to put some cushioning behind me. My first time ever on this track, and I've only done like maybe a few laps on the the go-kart, and then went into this golf. And then he's sitting next to me. I'm like, Byron, I can't get this into fifth. You got to help me. So he's like, you got it. And he had to help me because I'm like driving like this, and there's the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So it was quite an interesting start, but it was fun. And then, we haven't looked back.
So do you also train on the simulator?
Not as much as Byron.
No. Come on, don't lie.
I don't.
lie.
I get very, very impatient, but also it takes a certain kind of person to be good on a sim. I can tell you that much.
So
You have to have that patience.
If I can just get involved here, I think with Kelly, and I've said this, she's got the I don't want to say raw speed. Okay, she's not slow, but she's definitely got the pace. But what she lacks is racecraft, is the racing aspect. I will admit it, and I will say it straight. She doesn't have the racecraft to race against the people that are at the top. And I keep telling her the only way you get that is by the sim.
Yeah.
The sim racecraft. I mean, sim taught me 90% of my racecraft because you're racing against guys that are doing the same lap times as you. Now, how are you going to pass him?
Yeah,
you don't get to practice that in a practice on a race day. You know, every time you come up behind someone, they just back off because they don't want you following them, or they don't want you learning off what they're doing. But on the sim, in a race, you can race 10 times a day if you wanted to. You can race different people.
you can get those hours in and really hone your skills.
Absolutely.
I mean, how's this? I've raced Max Verstappen probably over 20 times in my life. I mean, the Max Verstappen on sim. I've raced him.
He races under his dad's name.
Yes. I've got a video of me beating Max Verstappen in a Mazda race. Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I'll keep that video till the day I die.
He screamed. He actually called me from the room. He's like, Kelly, get over here now. You have to see this.
the Max Verstappen live streaming, and there you check Mr. Byron Mitchell in his Durant Motorsport Mazda ahead of him on the live stream.
But I mean, having said that, I mean, for those guys out there, I mean, you're also a South African champion in simulator racing. I think there was an MSA series that you won.
Yeah.
I think I still went and collected your check for you because you weren't there.
No. You collected Luke Lucchese's check. For
Was it Luke's
Yes.
check?
We were there, and then you collected Luke's.
Or was second or third or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think it was third because wasn't Umpi second?
I mean, that is something for people out there that are thinking of getting into racing and that are racing. It's simulator racing, practicing on a simulator. Why do Formula One drivers sit for 10 hours a day on their simulators? Because it makes them a better driver. You got to learn every brake point, every little inch of that track. You've got to learn it off by heart.
So I've always said this, and I think a lot of the real life racers will agree with me. You as a real life racer can go from real life racing and adjust to a sim very quickly. Okay, I don't want to say very quickly, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Because it's instead of feeling it through your bum, you feel it through your hands. Okay?
Right.
And you see what's happening with the car.
Yeah.
To go from sim to real life is very tricky.
Yeah.
It is you've taken this you've learned on the sim, and you've taken the aspect of
It's like tricks and tips basically to get faster, which you can't do in a real car.
You know what to do on the sim. You know that you have to brake here and accelerate here. But as soon as you get in the car and you're now cramped in this space with a helmet on and everything's so claustrophobic, and you're doing 250 k's an hour, 4 centimeters above the ground, it's a very different mindset that you have to adopt.
Yeah.
And I'd say, look, never ever get me wrong. There are some sim drivers in the world that will compete against proper international drivers. That is for sure. But it's just a lot more
It's a certain
rare.
kind of person that can get into a car and a sim. Like for me, the sim, obviously with Byron's one, it makes me feel sick. So
really?
I do get car sickness.
Oh, that's interesting.
Crazy.
Because a lot of people do.
Interesting. I do get it.
But a lot of people climb my sim and I'm feeling bilious.
It's because
But I
you're
mean,
not,
you that actually races.
It's the vision. So like for me, if I'm not feeling me going down the hill and I'm seeing it, my brain is now freaking out because I can't feel it through
It's not adapting.
my body. Yeah. So I
Good
do.
excuse not to train on simulator.
But I do. It's just
getting
that it's
sick,
probably
Byron.
the patience.
Yeah.
It's probably the patience you need, and it did help me at a stage because I would get very frustrated. I'm like, okay, why can I not get this corner better? Why am I not braking later?
Yeah.
So it did help, and I did get into it a few times, but I'm not as, on it as Byron is. Like Byron will spend hours and hours on that thing. I will probably spend like maybe
That's why
20
he's
minutes.
as good as he is.
Exactly. And I'll probably spend 20 minutes and then I'm either gut full or I'm getting annoyed at myself for the
But having said that, I mean, you won last year. You won the Western Province Championship.
Yes, yeah.
So, and being one of the only lady racers in the country, there's one or two that have dropped off over the side. But I mean, that's still, so you've got a lot of natural talent. I mean, obviously, and you've got a fantastic coach here behind you. And
I wouldn't have been able to do it without, especially the
yeah,
team.
sure.
The team is like a big
Yeah,
thing.
that
If you
team is-
can't understand setup, which I'm still trying to
I don't
understand.
understand it either.
it's very
I just-
technical.
I
Tell
always say,
guys like him
It's
to
very,
set
very
it up.
technical.
I always say, when you go to a running race and you watch people run, that's
They
all the
train for
athlete. It's all the athlete. It's in their legs,
Yeah.
You go to a swimming event, it's in the guy's arms.
Yeah.
How hard they train is that. When you go to a motorsport event, I can't run. I need me and the car.
And a
So
team.
a lot of guys don't understand that setting up your car is
critical.
Is
Yeah.
70% of the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you competing against someone, and now in the modern age, racing has become a lot easier to do in the sense of that you can
Everything's
practice.
upgrading.
You can, you've got a lot more assists in the cars, and so the spread of the driving, like in 1920, to do or 90, let's just say.
Random.
Yeah. A Formula One car was hard to drive, like really difficult. I mean, in the 2025 cars are still difficult to drive, but not nearly as difficult as 1990 cars. I can
Yeah.
say that for a fact. Yeah, I mean, all the Formula One drivers also admit it.
Yeah.
So the thing is it takes the gap between your fast and your slow and makes it a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So instead of having this field spread out by maybe 2.5 seconds, now you've spread them out by a second. But the guys that are at the top are the guys that can build a setup on a car. They're the ones that can put they can, like a Max Verstappen, can fine tune that car to exactly how they want it.
Yeah.
And I've said it. If you don't get that setup right on your car, I don't care what you are racing or who you are. You're not going to beat someone that's got a primely like a prime setup and is on it. And I say to Kelly all the time,
Yeah.
she, in my opinion, has a very, very good setup car. I mean, I've driven her car a lot. And that is why, I mean, she does so well. She's got some good talent in her and she's got a good setup. And the two things together make the whole pie,
It took me a while though, because when I first started, of course, the car, they set it up for safety basically. So the car, yes, it will spin out, but
Very
less.
stable.
Yeah, it's more stable than what I have now. And it took me a while. I used to go and cry in the bathroom because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I had some bad accidents. I got myself into trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I drove over a car at the start line and I broke this poor man's, was it an F1 rim?
McLaren. He bought an old F1 McLaren. I don't even know what year
I
it was.
felt
It was way before I
terrible.
was born. And Kelly rammed into him like 100,000 rand magnesium rim. You can't even buy them anymore.
And I cracked
Just
the rim.
smashed
I felt
into it.
because
Oh my lord!
But you know, when you start out, your reflexes are zero. Like you can have like good reflexes when catching a tennis ball, but being on a track and those lights go out, your brain and everything just like goes. So, and that adrenaline, you don't always have control over that. So when I obviously saw these lights go out, I went and panicked, and I didn't turn because he obviously stalled on the line in front of me. And I had a guy, obviously cars passing, and I went like this, but then realized I had a car there and then back straight over the car. So it happened so quickly, and then obviously went into the wall. Shame. And then Tristan de Nobrega was standing there, and I was crying my eyes out. I'm like, I feel so bad. And he's like, it's fine, you're okay. But yeah, shame. I've had mistakes, and the only mistakes now that happen is if someone, tangles in front of me or next to me. But yeah, it took me a while to get where I am today.
You've become a safe driver.
Yeah, I still take some risks, but yeah, I like Byron's very correct in saying that my racecraft isn't where I want it to be either. And I mean, to get that racecraft, yes, it takes either like your hours in the sim or being in a big league where you have like 20 drivers around you to learn. And for me, when it comes to like the Joburg guys, the Joburg V's came down, and I was determined to finish top 10. I didn't want to finish below that. Even if I came 10th, I would have been like, woohoo, yay.
Sorry, this is what we call like the nationals.
Yeah, there's like 20 of them.
I remember that event.
Yeah,
okay.
There was like 20 of
here.
them that came down. And I was super excited because I haven't had the chance to race with them, and they never came down for like the first few years of my racing career, which was fine because I was still getting to know myself as a race driver in the car, and Byron was helping me with setup, and the team was trying to figure out my car as well. So when they came down, I was like really, really amped, and I knew there was a lot of people in there that have been racing for years and years and years and have won multiple championships nationally and locally. So my goal was just to finish top 10, and when the first race started, I think I qualified like 8th or 9th. Can't really remember, so I was super stoked. I was like, yes, I'm not last. I'm not lost.
Yeah.
And then the first race, I got up to 5th, and I was running 5th for a few laps, but this is where the racecraft in me wasn't as good. So I passed Richard Carr, and he actually said to me after the race, he's like, I didn't even know where you came from. Like, you basically just lit on like a light. And I was like, I don't know, I was enjoying myself. And then, of course, like having all these like really, really good race drivers around you that have been in this profession for many, many years and have won races like Peter Hills and them and Lendl.
I mean, they've been racing longer than we've been alive.
They've been racing way longer. And they've done even faster times than us. Like Byron, I remember we used to drive with them and couldn't get to their times, and now he can. But anyway, so I think I finished like 6th or 7th in the first race, and then I think it was 7th again in the next race. So I was super, super stoked in like a class of 20.
No, it was like 30.
Actually it was
Oh,
more.
really? Yeah. I remember that race. It was a big field.
Yeah. So I was really, really happy with myself because, especially as a female, I think there was one other female in the class, but she was quite young. But I don't think she races V's anymore. But
you're a little bit old now.
Yeah.
Quite young.
That age, yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Diamond age.
But
how young was she? I mean, you're 20, early 20s. Well,
she's
I think
she's 15, I think.
Okay.
14, I think. But she stopped racing V's now. I think she's in an.
I don't know.
I don't know much about the Joburg crowd, but I just knew the ones that we grew up, because obviously when Byron went to race V's in Joburg, I would obviously go with in like our holidays and stuff. So obviously we met all of these guys, and it was quite cool to be able to look back and now see that I'm racing with them and doing their times. And I actually got into 24s because I was struggling to get a 124. And ever since that race, I can actually now do a 24 by myself. And it just like showed me how much driving with these guys improves you, because it's not just 2 other guys I'm watching now. It's like 5 of them around me. So
that's what it's all about. I mean, peripheral vision is such a key thing. I don't know if have you ever trained at a place called iZone in Silverstone?
No,
it's
I've never been there.
It's a simulator school where they teach you. They teach race drivers, Lewis Hamilton, all the F1 guys have been through that school, and all the pro drivers, they go there. You pay a fee. I think at the time that I've been there a few times, it was £160 per hour.
Sure. Okay.
So you go in there and they got a simulator set up, but they train you first of all. They will train you to improve your peripheral vision, and how they do that is they have a big screen, and you sit there in this it's like a movie screen, and they got about 20 tennis balls floating on the screen randomly, just floating. Then they stop.
Sounds a bit trippy.
Then they stop, and then they'll highlight 5 balls.
You have to keep an eye on that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all just randomly mixed with the other balls. And they say, right, track those balls, and then they all go yellow, and then the balls start drifting again. And so you go and you watch all the balls, and they stop, and they say, right, where's ball number 1?
Yeah.
And say, there. Okay, so you get it right, and maybe you get number 2 right, and then the rest you get totally wrong. They carry on with that till you can spot every ball. I think I sat in that thing once for about 7 hours.
Jeez. Yeah.
Till I could get it right. And then the next day I went back again, and I used to do this quite regularly when I used to fly through London and stop over there and book a couple of hours or a day or two. The other thing is they put a brainwave detector on your head. So it looks just like a Frankenstein thing. You got this thing that goes in your head and all the wires coming out of it.
Yeah.
And so they can track your brain waves. Then they put a ball on a TV screen. There's a ball on a table. So when you concentrate, the ball raises off the table. It's obviously brainwave activity.
Yeah.
Then they say to you, right, imagine yourself on a track that you know racing.
Yeah.
So you're at Kyalami now. Yeah. Your eyes are closed and you're now hauling on down the front straight. Obviously, the ball goes up as you get to turn 1.
Yeah.
A lot of concentration going on. You go around between 2 and 3, it sort of sinks down again. Then it goes up. And when you get around turn 4, it goes down and rests on the table. And you can haul on down the back straight. And you've got to visualize the whole lap. So in the beginning, the thing goes up and plonks down again. It goes up and plonks down again. Then the goal is to keep that ball off the table for the entire lap.
Yeah, 100% concentration.
And man, lots of practice. Then they got this other ball that you punch, that lights up. You got all these lights, and as it lights up, you got to punch it. That's for a reaction time.
Also the dropping.
And they got the brake, where you practice your braking.
Yeah. How you spike a brake or flat brake.
So it's got to go boom and then follow the line down. You sit on that thing and brake, and then they give you a percentage.
That's where I struggle with in racing sometimes, especially on the sim, because you've got so many different types of cars. You've got single-seaters, GT3 cars, Le Mans, like LM types of cars. And I mean, every car's got a different braking technique you need. And this is what makes me, I think, the universal driver I am today, is that I've practiced all of these.
And all those cars.
I've learned in single seaters you need that spike because you've got the aero. In GT cars you need more of a consistent, is what we call a tabletop. So you don't have a lock up in the beginning phase or at the end phase. You've got the ABS to help you. Yeah. And then, a lot of other cars, you've got different styles. You've got like your peak brake to off and then peak up, like second peak. And it's a lot of different ways. Your Le Mans cars, what do they call them now? LMDH cars have got the braking energy pack. So your off-throttle braking application is much more than on like a normal F4 car. So now you're going through a high-speed corner. You don't even need to brake. You just roll off the throttle and the car's actually braking for you. Yeah. So I've learned all those things through the sim. And I mean, it's helped me immensely in what I drive, And
so let's get on to this hill climb. I mean, you guys, you were determined a couple of years ago you'd like to give this hill climb a go. Yeah. It's a great event. It's one of the best and most exciting sort of motorsport events in South Africa. I mean, it pulls a huge crowd.
Yeah, I mean, there was 35,000 people there this year, I think.
Is that total over the weekend or on the day?
I think it was on the day.
I think it was probably one.
I think it was. I can't tell you the exact numbers, but I've heard a lot of rumors that it was a lot of people, and I mean they get like 50,000, 100,000 views on their YouTube videos and all that.
Yeah, it's gone huge, and I mean you guys you were determined. So the first one you did was 2021.
2021, yeah.
And you won your class.
We race in class C2, sorry, which is a naturally aspirated 2-liter. Or it's actually, I just think it's all naturally aspirated cars, if I'm not mistaken.
Which wasn't really fair because the classes they seem to have got right now eventually.
Yeah.
Because there it was like King of the Hill was the fastest guy up there, but it was some ridiculously fast car. I think it was
the Gould.
Andre Bassain in the Gold, which is a purpose-built hill climb car.
Yeah, it's one radiator,
imported,
5-liter petrol tank. I think it's 5 liters.
Yeah,
it's ready. It's built.
It was a V12.
I don't know. It's a McLaren something.
McLaren engine, very sophisticated engine, and probably a very expensive car as well.
Oh yeah,
compared to what you guys have got.
Oh yeah, massive.
So I've heard all sorts of rumors about what the budget of that car was actually, but you never know who's got the right number. But to tackle that, I mean, I did it then as well. I don't know what the year was, but I've done it 3 times, and I also ended up winning my class against Rui Campos, came second.
Yes.
And I can't remember, it was the guy's third. I can get to that, and that from in this car, this
your Martini.
Yeah, and it wasn't actually near what it was. I eventually got it to a beautiful engine.
Yeah,
got the setup right after that, but I never did it after that. So 2021, and you guys won your class, and then 2022
we won our class again.
Yeah.
And we came 4th overall. And that year was by far the most fun year I think we've had as a team ever in one of those events. It was the closest. I'll never forget that. So me and Andrew Rackstraw, I'm sure you know Andrew Rackstraw.
Yeah.
He's international Porsche Cup driver now.
Yeah.
And he was racing his Formula VW with me. Same cars, same engine, same everything.
Yeah.
All identical. Okay. The only thing different was we had a straight pipe exhaust pipe, so our car sounded cooler. But that was it. Everything else was the exact same. And the whole weekend we were close. I mean,
neck and
within 1/10, 2/10. Sorry, I lie. That was 2021. 2022, he drove a Formula Ford Z-Tech or something like that. It was a Formula Ford built by Ian Schofield. And it had this 2-liter, I don't know what it was, but it was paddle shift and that. And the cars were very close, I must admit. It was very, very close. I think they made a little bit more power than us, but I think they lacked on grip because they had lots narrower tires.
Setup, yeah.
Yeah, their tires were a lot narrower than what we had. So we had more rubber, but they had more power. But it kind of equalized itself out quite nicely. And we were very close the whole weekend, and we were pushing each other. I mean, everybody wants to win. And we're both youngsters, both trying to make a name for ourselves. And into the class final, my previous best time was a 39.9 second. And into the class final, we gave it everything and did it. And we did a 39.84. And Andrew did a 39.80. And he beat me by 4 hundredths. That's 0.04 of a second. But he clipped the cone. So his time got deleted. Yeah, in the class final. And, as I say, unfortunately, rules are rules.
It is what it is,
what it is.
Yeah.
So we won that. And we went into the King of the Hill final now. Shootout. Big boys now. And I'll never forget, I was sitting on that start line and I had Garth in my headset. And Garth said to me, he said, Boykie.
Now, Garth's sitting in America.
No, he was there.
Was he there?
Yeah,
he
was
down,
there. Yeah. And he's always my chief engineer, always. When we do the Hillclimb, he's always there. And he said to me, Boykie, he said, this is it. He said, his exact words were, I'll never forget this. And we still had a joke about it this year. And he said to me, I don't care if you write this car off. He said, I need a 10th. I need you to give me 1/10. That's all he wanted was me. I need 1/10. And he said, we can rebuild the car. His exact words like, we can rebuild this car. I need you to give me everything you've got now. And I was just about to go up to the line. And as a racing driver, I don't want to say you love hearing that, but it's like, okay, now shit's getting real. I loved hearing that because it was like, it was do or die, and I knew that's what they wanted, that's what they get. And as a driver, you never think about writing the car off, you just think about giving it full commitment.
The whole team was anxious.
And
we all standing
everybody
there,
was like, And we shot off, and I gave him a 10.5. So we did a 39.70. Okay. So he was chuffed, but now they had to wait for Andrew to do his run. And Andrew did his run, and Andrew did 39.75. And I beat him by half a tenth. And he was like, everybody that day, it was probably that feeling of, okay, give me a tenth. I've given you what you wanted.
Whole team
and
went
we
crazy,
won.
yeah.
We won, you know.
That was 2020.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah,
2022, that was that year. It was so, I mean, the spectators, it was so close. I mean, you're talking less than a tenth of a second between two guys that are competing for the win.
Yeah, the commentators are like, wow.
It was ridiculous. And that was
a class win.
That was class win, and
class
then
win.
we were fighting for King of the Hill I think we were fighting for 3rd, 4th place, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But regardless of where we were fighting, it was that class and that whole
Absolutely.
atmosphere build up. It was
Class win is what it's all about, you know.
and
Comparing
it was
apples with apples.
crazy. And then in 2023 we went back, same thing, we were at it, and then in the class hill it was very close between us again as it was the previous year. Same adrenaline rush, and then on the line in the class finals, it started raining and the camshaft position sensor like buggered out, and we had to go into limp mode, and we didn't make the class final or the King of the Hill final.
I wasn't there.
I
remember you phoned me and he was like,
I think that was a day that taught me, you know,
it's brutal.
Motorsport is brutal. That's it. There's no other word for it. You know, you win some, you lose some. And I mean, I still remember Umpi and Shannon, Umpi's girlfriend, was there. And
Yuri
Kelly,
Swat. We call him Umpi. Shame.
Yuri Swat Jr. And Shannon's his girlfriend, and Shannon's best friends with Kelly. And Kelly just said to Shannon, just give him a hug for me. And I'll never forget, I was standing there and I'm like head in the, it's just,
so
you don't know what
sad.
to do. And she just came up to me and gave me a hug, and I'm like, what's this? And she's like, this is from Kelly.
A couple of years before that, I think it was 2015 that I won my class, but the King of the Hill on the Sunday was the top 10. If whatever car, against all the cars. So you're right. It was saloon, that, and all this. The quickest guy up the hill was the King. There was only one King. Now they've separated. They've made it 3 different.
So the reasoning
classes,
for that was
I
that
agree.
it became unfair that a Formula One car was racing against someone in their BMW road car.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you compete the two? You can't.
Yeah.
So they split it so that you would have King of the Hill for all the single seaters,
And then saloon.
King of the Hill for all of the modified saloons, and then King of the Hill for all the road cars. That way, you had 3 King of the Hills, which is still incredibly hard to get onto. You know, to be King of the Hill, you have to be the fastest of what you're driving. You know, single seater, saloon, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then obviously I think the person who sets the fastest time maybe gets a little bit more recognition, you know, like, I mean, if you do like a 30, like Andre did in the Gould,
record.
you know, you do like a 34, whatever it was. I mean, you get a bit more recognition, obviously, but you're still regarded as King of the Hill.
Yeah.
So 2025, I mean, to start this off very quickly and to, you know, obviously the worst part, or the thing that I will just get out the way first is, you know, my condolences to the Joubert family. What happened with
that
Peter.
is, I mean, to also have that on the day, on the Sunday, where
First thing in the morning,
the King, the Hill is now going to take place in all the different classes. And I mean, he was actually leading his class at the time.
he was doing very well.
It was incredibly, it was actually a shock to my system as well. And then for your mindset as well, I mean, that takes some serious focus.
If we're going to start from the beginning, we'll just go, it was, so obviously your build up to the hill climb. So
you built a whole new car.
we rebuilt the car. We didn't build a new one. We just rebuilt it.
Rebuilt the car.
We attempted an aluminium engine. Oh, goodness, the problems we had with that motor. But we got it. I mean, it was something that had never been done ever. No one had ever put an aluminium engine in a VW before, ever. So the learning curve we had was massive. So, I mean, 2-3 months before the hill climb, the last year even, you know, we were ready on this project, and we slowly but surely had to flip and work our way through the problems. And we had the engine in, and then we dropped a valve. One of the valves broke, and it was so lucky how it happened. The valve broke, and it must have hooked the piston. It must have fell with the piston, and the piston pushed it back up perfectly flat, and it jammed itself in the head. And I obviously picked up that it was a problem, so I instantly killed the car. Nothing else damaged, only a little mark in the head, which was fixable. And anyway, motor came out, we fixed it, whatever, put it back in, tested it, and we thoroughly tested it before the hill climb. I mean, Garth actually said to me, I need you to try and see if this thing's, I need you to push it. And if it breaks, it needs to break here, not on the hill.
Yeah.
And I gave that thing a hammering, let me tell you, and it lasted. And then going up to the hill climb, we were all confident. We felt we had a good package, something new that we had never taken before, and that was we had lost 35 kilos of weight. You know, I mean, that's a massive thing. So we were going onto the hill confident, and we knew we were down on power because obviously we built the engine that it works, doesn't work as hard as the other engines. It was extremely low on compression compared to the other motors. I can't tell you what it is. I've got no idea. All I know it is lower. Yeah. And our goal was to try and make the motor rev easier, okay, and be lighter. So because we're always in the high RPM range anyway, and you want that, you know, up the hill. So we went there Thursday. We arrived. We you know, the team arrived Thursday. We left Thursday morning early. We got there, got familiar with everybody, got familiar with the house we're staying in. You know, we did a few odds and ends in the car. We had to fix the fire extinguisher system, and then just check everything. And then we had a bit of golf. we had a bit of golf there. And then Friday morning, the car goes to the show. So it goes to the whole like motor show. It gets scrutineered. You pick up all your documentation. It goes for a show. And then I'm sure you know all the procedure. Yeah. And then the car stays there on the trailer and everyone looks. And then Friday night, the weekend starts. And from Friday night to Sunday night, you are working flat out. I mean, Friday night, we set up the pits. Me and the team, we go up there, we set up the pits, get the flat patch out, you know, make sure you can do your scales and corner weights and that. We set all that up and get the lights up.
That was a mission, though. They put him in the back of the pit, and it was so uneven.
So the floor goes like that.
It got actually scarier, but how they...
The floor goes downhill at the back because you're rolling off a mountain now. So the back jack had to be like, I think it was about this high, probably about 200 mils off the floor.
To set up corner weights.
So you would have to lift that car up because the floor has to be perfectly flat to set the car up. So your front plates are on the floor. But the back jacks, because the floor is slanted, is now probably 250 mils up. So we had to ask Scribanti, they were awesome. One of the guys welded two nuts together so we could lock them together. We lifted these jacks up like this high, and everybody was like, this is not going to work.
Yeah, no, we were all holding
all the engineers were like, no, it's fine, it'll work, you know. But everybody else that obviously didn't know what was going on was like, no,
I'm watching this like, this car's on the hill, it's going to fall.
And anyway, we did that Friday. And then Saturday started the day, you know, as we always do every year. You build into it as a driver. You know, you haven't been there for a year, and you've got, to quickly put this, you've got, I think it's 3 practices, 3 qualifyings, which is 6 runs. And then on the Sunday, you've got 1 warm-up, 3 qualifyings. So that's 4, okay? Yeah. So then you've got 10 runs, and you've got your class final and King of Hill final.
Yeah.
So you've got 12 runs throughout the entire weekend of 40 seconds. That's less than 1 practice session at a racetrack. That's what you've got. And you got to get into it. You got to dial yourself in. You don't get a rechance, you know. So the first practice session and second practice session, we always use as a banker to make sure that there's no new bumps on the road. It's a normal Republic road, you know, make sure there's no bumps on the road. Make sure that everything's still the same as it was the last year. Make sure the car's still working, nothing's loose, nothing's wrong, you know. And then from practice 3, the track starts warming up a bit and a little bit more rubber gets laid down. And then we start pushing it a little bit, not a lot. And qualifying 1, qualifying 2, we kind of get a little bit of a banker in and we start working on setup. And then qualifying 3 is very important to us on Saturday because it's the same time that the King of the Hill and class final shootouts run on Sunday.
Okay, yeah.
So you're getting very similar track conditions, air temperature, everything's going to be very similar. So you normally always push for qualifying 3 because you want to see what the car's going to handle like for the next day. And I think we did a 40.2. So we ended the day off fairly well. Our fastest ever time prior to the weekend was a 39.7. So we were quick, and we knew we had a task to try beat that time, and we were confident with the package we had we could do it. Yeah. And we ended on a 40.2, and we were ready for Sunday. I felt that the whole team felt that a 40.2 was a very good end to a Saturday. We had got to a point where we were happy with the setup of the car. We were struggling a bit in the beginning of the day with the setup, and I couldn't get it dialed in. And then I think at qualifying 2, middle of the day, just after middle of the day, we got into a point where we had made a few changes where the car was handling, and then Q3 was good. There was a few big areas on my side, so I knew we were set. And then Sunday morning, you normally have the warm up. And unfortunately, that's when we had the horrific accident, you know, with Ube, and unfortunately that was not good. And he unfortunately did, lose to his life to his injuries there. And I remember we were standing around and no one had known what happened. And I don't want to speak too much about it, obviously.
That feeling was terrible. Like
it's not my place to mention it.
Air.
But I know as a driver, we were standing there and we kind of knew what was going on. And then one of the guys I was with is, if they call the drivers, because normally that's how racing works, if they call the drivers through to the room, that's
it's not a good ending.
And true as hell, 5 minutes later, they called all the drivers to the COC room. So we knew as drivers what had happened. We knew. We went in there, and I'm not going to share any details what was said in there. Obviously, that's just, private. It was between the drivers and that. And, they said that basically it was our decision, and the Joubert wanted us to carry on in honor of the brother. So it was at our own discretion to carry on or not. And I think the big thing that did iterate is, look, it's motorsport, I know, and it's very sad. It is extremely sad. Hopefully it never happens again. And there are a lot of fans and spectators that have come all this way. So I think as all the drivers, we knew the risks we were taking. And I know nobody ever thinks of the worst. And I think one of the decisions I made from is, the family wanted us to carry on in the brother's honor. So that was immediately my first, okay, I'm going to carry on. They want me to carry on, so I'm going to do that. And another thing was, I had a guy come over from America, Garth. He flew down specifically for this. All the fans and spectators had come all the way from wherever they came from around South Africa.
Yeah.
You don't want to just say and call it quits, and that's it. But very terrible. The police had to take some time clearing the scene, obviously, and they took some time getting the car.
The silence in the air was terrible.
Yeah,
as someone who got there just after the accident, not knowing, because I heard they called them to the pits, to media center to chat. I was like, oh, okay, they're having a media session, but I didn't even know there was an accident that just happened until I got to Jonty and I got to the team, and I was like, okay, what happened? Because you could just sense this, like, as a driver that I've seen it happen at Kyalami where someone's died, just that feeling, you pick it up instantly, that feeling of like the unknown. And then the team basically said to us that just got there, because obviously we were bringing stuff up from the car, and it happened quite early. And just that feeling of like not knowing what's going on was terrible. And then as a part of the team to not know, okay, well, shit, Byron has to go up this hill now. And this has just happened. And then they were going on with the event. I was like, oh my God, now my nerves are shot. Like the whole team was like, oh my God.
So I think when we came out that driver's room, obviously I sat down with the team and I said, guys, this is it. I said to everybody, I said, as a driver, I'm willing to carry on. It's a risk I'm taking. I know this. I said, but what do you guys want to do? Yeah. I said to the guys, what do you guys want to do? This isn't just me here. I'm the lucky idiot that gets to push the pedals and turn the steering wheel. You guys are the ones running the car. And everybody agreed, okay, let's carry on and let's do this. And after lunch, enough about that, I'd say. I don't want to go into it too much. Yeah. It's very sad.
Yeah, of course.
But after lunch, they continued with the event, and I can tell you everybody took it easy for those first runs. Me, I think I went full commitment because I knew that when, as a driver, you don't commit, you make mistakes. That's been how I drive.
When you second guess it,
if you back off on purpose, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
So I knew the only way I'm going to get through this is if I give my full 100% commitment, 100% concentration, and that's it. And my first run was a 40.2. It was the same as what I did on Sunday. And I said to the team, right, we in it. We're on a good place. And I'll never forget, before that, I just said to the guys, and I mean, my dad was like distraught from this. He was, imagine your son now climbing in this car after what's just happened. And I mean, in a single seater, it's just as dangerous. I mean, we're doing the same speed, 200 and 200 Ks an hour up there, trees, everything around you.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned as a spectator, it's just as scary because you don't know.
So he came to me about 6 times before I went up, and he was like, good luck, just take it easy,
Your dad?
Yeah, my dad. He was like,
everyone.
Yeah, I could see he was probably the worst. And I mean, it's self-explanatory. And then I think, as the day went on, he kind of calmed down a bit and he realized, okay, I'm in control. And I think with me as well, I don't get nervous for that type of things, even though what had happened in the morning. I think I'm very good at controlling my nerves.
Yeah, you're very good at blocking out what's just happened.
I know.
But still, he was very respectful. I must give him that. Like,
I know
how he handled it. I don't think I could have handled it like that. I probably would have been in tears. I was in tears. And I walked off. I was like, this is scary.
And
this is shit. This is
I know,
real.
I know. As soon as you let those thoughts come into your brain, it's
game over.
You're going to be making mistakes left, right, and center. And then we worked our way through it, and then I can't say we had the easiest days because straight after that first run, things went downhill fast for us.
So what were you experiencing a problem, engine problem, or did you know what it was?
So what happened was we did the 40.2 Sunday morning, well Sunday afternoon actually. It was the first run, which was qualifying 1 now.
Yeah.
Or qualifying 4, 4. And then we had qualifying 5, and we got messed around a bit because we have tire warmers on the car. And there was a red flag, and then there was miscommunication and that. And so the car got pushed out, and then it was back, and then it was pushed out, and it was back. And then the tire warmers were on and off and on and off, and it was a big mess around. And we left the line, and the tires were cold. I knew immediately from the launch I got the tires didn't have the amount.
There was a lot of red flags, so
it screwed the team around a bit.
The team around,
Yeah.
And I got to turn 1, and I had a massive snap of over. I thought it was done. I thought I was in the hole. I had a massive, you must see the video footage, a massive snap of oversteer, and I was full 180 degrees lock on the steering wheel, caught it, and carried on. But the thing with the hill is, you never know. You have to just keep going. And I went full commitment into it. Turn 2, I knew that the tires were cold. I mean, you're just understeering, and you're four-wheel drifting, and it's terrible. And then as you went up to turn 3 and I call it turn 3 and 4, the S's. The tires had built a tiny bit of temperature, but nothing great. And we did like a 41.7, like it was 1.5 seconds off what we normally do. So it was a terrible run. And I mean, the team was like, what just happened? How the hell did we just go from a 40.2 to a 41.5? I mean, then I'm sitting up there and I spoke to the guys and I said, look, I think we just got unlucky with the tires and that. And then we went back to the pits. We made sure the tires were warm. They heated them up and we were ready. And then we said to the guys, right, next run, we're going to go full commitment. We want to see what this car can do now because it'll be the first time now we're on a decent setup, decent track, warm tires, everything's good. And I gave it everything. And as a driver, I felt it was my best run of the weekend. I did a 41.4. I was like, what?
Something's wrong.
I got to the top of the hill and I said to Garth, said to me, he's like, well done, what happened there, Boykie? I was like, what do you mean? I think it was a 41.4. I'm like, no ways. My timing system's wrong. There's no ways a 41.4. It's like, what do you mean? I said, Garth, I know I drove this car. I said, I'm telling you that wasn't a 41.4. And it was a really solid run. And he said, okay, we'll look at it when you come down. So we came down and we were going through the data. And I mean, if you look at the throttle traces and the brake trace, it was, I don't want to say perfect because as a racing driver, you can always improve. But it was near perfect. I mean, Garth still said to me and my dad at the end of the weekend, if you looked at that throttle trace and the brake trace and you were trying to explain to someone that has never ridden the hill climb before, that's what he would show them. Exactly that. And we couldn't figure out why we had gone so slow. And then what happened was, I said to him, Garth, let's go through this again. We went through the data and I said, but check out that speed difference, the GPS speed, because we had wheel speed sensors. And we were at 9 k's an hour down into turn 1 and 10 k's an hour down into turn 2. So we call turn 1 the first corner and then turn 2 the second corner because the hill climb calls it turn 3 and turn 4 because they count the little S as turn 1. So anyway, so we were 9 k's and 10 k's an hour down. I said to Garth, something's wrong. So he's going and he's looking and everything looks all right in the data. Nothing's showing anything bad. And he said to me, maybe I hit a bump. And it caused a bit of wheel spin. And because I lost 9 k's in turn 1, you lose 10 k's an hour in turn 2 because, it becomes a domino effect. You lose a bit here, you lose there, you lose there. And then I was like, maybe. And I turned around and I walked around and I went to the toilet and I came and I was thinking of this. I'm like, there's no ways. I said, I know, I didn't hit a bump. I came back to him and now he was already like over it. And I said, Garth, open up this data again. I said, I'm 90% sure I didn't hit the bump. We're going through it. And then we check, okay, we look at the exit of turn 2 and the entry of turn 3. And it was 10 k's an hour down. But I'd exited turn 2 quicker than what I did on the previous run, on my 40.2 run. So now we knew, okay, now there's a problem with the engine.
Definitely a problem with the engine.
Definitely, we had a problem with the power. We didn't know what it was. So then he starts now really digging. I mean, he was digging. And he found the car was running a bit rich. And he said to me, that's a bit weird, but it wasn't like drastically rich. It was a little bit rich, but not right. Anyway, so he said, let's just do another run and see what happens. We did another run. Once again, very good run from me, the class final. And it was a 41.6, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah.
And I said to him, Garth, this is all I've got. I said, I can't give you anything more. I'm pushing to the limit. And he said, and we looked at the data, and now we were 14 k's an hour down.
Word, so definitely
it was getting a little bit. So it was 12 k's an hour. We were a little bit slower. Now we couldn't figure out what was happening. Now I said to him, I said, God, there's something in the engine that's either going, or I said, and I was like, maybe the bearings are getting tight. I don't know. I'm trying to think of everything possible here that's causing the car to slow down. We can't think of it. And then eventually we came to the conclusion, well, there's nothing we can do about it. The turnaround time between the class finals and the King of the Hill is so small. You got to keep at it. So he said, this is it. I just won the class final, and now this was it. We weren't expecting to be in a position where we could win overall, but with the Gould having problems on Saturday, we knew we were in that position. So our main goal was to finish. We needed to get to the top of that hill and that car one piece. We needed to. It was life or death for us.
Yeah.
And we were so we ended up going to the line, and now the team was on edge. I mean, everybody was a bit distraught from what happened in the morning. And now all of these problems, now we're like, is the motor going to... Now everyone's like, is the motor going to last?
Is the motor going to actually last?
No one
There's
knows.
clearly something wrong with the engine.
Something wrong. So we were crapping now. And me as a driver, I knew all I could do was drive. I had no control of what happens behind me, But the team, and I'll never forget... I launched, and I was the last car to go up, because the last single seater, because of the fact that how it works doesn't work in your qualifying time and that. So I'll never forget, I pulled up to the line, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, right, Byron, don't hit the cone, don't hit the cone, don't hit the cone, don't hit the cone, because if you hit the cone, you're done. And I thought, right, do what I do. And God said to me, just do exactly what you did last run, and you'll be fine, just do that, and let's finish. And it was a very good run, and I did a 41.4, but there's nothing I could do more. It was all that she gave me. And the team was over the moon. Well, I mean, over the moon, literally.
I saw that. I witnessed that.
They
That's
ran.
some great footage.
As soon as that car left the start line, the whole team, Garth said to me, the whole team ran to the TV, and they were glued to that TV, just waiting for the car to cross the line. And when it crossed the line, on the radio, Garth was like almost in tears, saying like, we had done it, this and that. And I still remember saying to Garth, I was like, I really want to celebrate, but I just can't. As a driver, I just couldn't, out of respect to the family and everybody else. I really wanted to, and it just, something in you just says you can't. So when I got down to the bottom of the hill, what I'd always wanted to do, I've always wanted. So how the Formula One drivers get out the car and they stand onto the carbon tub and they like jump off. And I always wanted a photo like that. I've always wanted one, but you never just do it for the fun of it, And I remember coming down and I thought, I can't do it. And then when I was getting out the car, I didn't. And it's just something I didn't. No, you just can't.
It's also like there's a level of
respect.
Something terrible's happened. Yes, we've done really well, but also there's an extreme, like a terrible loss as well for those.
The bad was worse than the good. We lost a life that day. I mean, we could win the hill climb next year. It can happen again, but you're not going to get the guy back.
So
anyway, but the team was over the moon, and we celebrated as little as we could, but obviously still enjoying the moment. Sure.
I think everyone was more concerned about, oh God, this guy's safe. Like, I was in tears. I was like, okay, I didn't even care about the time. I was just, he's alive. Because after all of that, the whole day in my head was like, you don't know what can happen on this hill. And like Byron mentioned, the drivers know exactly. Like, I know myself. I know if I'm putting myself in this position, whatever happens, happens. Like, if this is my last time, I've put myself in this position, so that's why Byron came from a level of respect where we understand exactly why we do it, but then also if something goes wrong, we know we need to respect everyone around us, no matter how excited and happy we are. But it was still very scary.
Powerful. Yeah.
And I mean, I got interviewed by some guys, got on the podium, got our trophies, packed up. Oh, the worst time of the weekend, packing up. Fuck, I hate it.
In the dark.
I hate it, but hey, it has to be done. I mean, And then we went home and we had a little bit more of a celebration. We had a little bit more of a celebration.
Oh, did you?
We went out to this place Garth recommended. It was quite cool.
Oh, tapas.
Tapas. That was a nice. No, I'm sure if anybody
had a really
knows,
nice meal.
There, we had a little bit more of a celebration, had a few beers, and then, enjoyed our evening.
But I mean, to get back to you, Kelly, I mean, the suspense and the emotions that you must endure, especially on that last run.
It's...
How did you feel? I mean, it must have... I
scary.
captured it on camera. It was,
you arrived in that moment and I was like... it's just that because I race and I know I've been bad at accidents where I've damaged my hand, and that's like the smallest things that can go wrong is hand injuries or neck. I mean, neck injuries are serious, but a death is just it just hits you somewhere different. And when it happened that morning, it just set this tone of, oh my God, like anything can go wrong. And the team then just took it into a level of, okay, we need to make sure that everything's safe. We need to make sure that everything's to a level that we know if something goes wrong, it's, it's not the team. The driver knows exactly what he's doing. But as a spectator and someone, I don't really work on the car mechanically wise. So for me, it was just a case of, oh my God, my loved one's going up this hill and I don't know if he's going to come back down because of what's just happened. And it can happen to anyone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I shat myself every time I went up the hill.
Every time, yeah.
I've never done anything is more scary. Huh?
On the left, you've got rocks. On the right, you've got trees and a drop-off. That's it, into the valley. Yeah.
Also seeing his accidents before, even that turn 5 accident at Kyalami, that was intense. And
this last one?
No. The one in 22, just before the first hill climb. Yeah. So even
you saw the guy that went off there now this last weekend. He's in ICU.
Yeah. So knowing the level of
slow car, it just had a brake failure.
Unfortunately, it's
so I think knowing the level of danger that we put ourselves in, but we do as race drivers choose to do it. It's like, it's normal.
I speak from a pilot's point of view.
Exactly.
So I'm going to put you in the simulator now because, like everybody else that comes on this program has to do a little hot lap.
Awesome.
Now, we have the Twig.
Okay.
That I found roaming around in the Spa shopping centre down the road. Who claimed that he could race a simulator. I put him in there and he put up a time. And that's the benchmark time that nobody else has been able to get close to. Except Jonathan Thomas got within a second.
Okay, so this Twig he's good. He knows what he's doing.
Stig.
Seems like it.
Well, I'm saying it's the Stig because if it's a good time,
I haven't had a go yet. I just normally demonstrated the guys, but I mean, I know that this guy's is a bloody alien.
Yeah,
and I know you're an alien as well.
Well, we'll see.
And so you get one tank of fuel. It's 30 liters. It's in there. It gives you about 6 or 7 laps to get your eye in. And then
what car are we driving?
I can't say that on live because then the guys in future are going to know.
Okay.
So when you arrive here, you'll be given a car and a track that nobody else knows of. You don't know what to expect. So you can't go and practice beforehand. You just get your cold. This is your track. You know this track like the back of your hand.
I mean, it's only like 5 or 6 corners, so it's not a very difficult track to get used to.
Yeah.
Curbs are the problem here. The more curbs you take, the faster you go. The problem is to get that fine line between too much and too little.
Yeah.
And the GTE car is a very tricky car to get right. But when you get it right, it's very satisfying.
You're very at home on these simulators. You're actually a current South African champion, so this should be no problem for you to meet this guy that lurks around in the Spa shopping centre. There goes your man. There goes the Twig.
Twig.
You want to hunt him down.
The throttle and the commitment to the curves is massive here. Committing to a curve gives you such a good exit. So the trick with the GTE car, your tyre pressures, very important. If your tyre pressures are not in the right window.
What is the right window for this one?
Where they're grippy. I don't know what the window is, but I can feel. Yeah, let's see if we can do a 43. I want to give full concentration here.
Okay.
Oh, nick the gravel. That gravel kills your run. You got one wheel on the tar, one wheel on the gravel.
This is D-Day for the Twig. We might have a new Twig on the block here.
I say this is motorsport, and this is what I've always said with all my friends and when we race.
Yeah.
We as drivers get to our limit very quickly, but to find those last 2, 3, 4 tenths, it takes a lot of time. I'll get that. I'll go my 2, 3 tenths quicker, yeah, but it's going to take me a lot of time to get used to it.
I'd like to know from Byron how he did on that hot lap, because to me it looked pretty good. And how did you feel about that lap?
I'm nervous. I don't know.
Nervous?
I don't know, hey? I don't want to be beaten by a guy from Spa. Come on.
But I mean, this guy was unusually fast. And but I was leaning over your shoulder there, as I could see, and you were pretty much keeping up with the reference car, which was basically the Twig's time, and
it felt good. I mean, there was a few mistakes. Obviously, it's natural. There's always going to be mistakes, but there was a few mistakes, locking up, losing the rear slightly into the parabolic and all that type of stuff. But it was alright. I mean,
but bearing in mind, you haven't ridden a simulator for a little while, I believe.
No, it's been a while.
And but you
Since
also
last year.
one of the current South African champions in sim racing, as well as in normal racing. I mean, you got a couple of big fat trophies behind you, including that one there now, which you're going to take home with you, which was the overall third in Class A in the South African Endurance Series in 2023, which I think was an incredible achievement.
I wish you guys could see how heavy that is.
Which, by the way, we did together, him and I, I don't know if I wasn't there, maybe we'd come second, but I don't know.
No.
I think we did a bloody marvelous job there, even if I have to slap myself on the shoulder.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you don't know how you did. Well, let me tell you how I did.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, let's see. The Twig, the fastest time set, which was basically our reference time, was a 1:44.5.
Okay.
Then we had Jonathan Thomas in here, who's a renowned race driver.
Yeah, Johnny.
And he's got the track record now for Kyalami.
Yeah.
He did a 1:45.5, so that's 1 second slower than
the Twig. Making me nervous now.
And then we had Mikey K, the renowned helicopter pilot, which is he's got incredible hand-eye coordination, SAS, super special task force Rambo of note. He did a 1:51.5.
Sure, okay.
Having never raced a race car in his life. And then we had Rob Barber, who's an extraordinaire wildlife conservationist and tour guide, and who's incredibly good with off-road driving. He did a 1:51.9, slightly slower than Mikey K.
Okay.
And Stoos, who is a renowned motorcycle builder and manufacturer of bikes from the road, basically from the ground up. He builds really specialist bikes on an international standard, has won international awards, has raced jet skis, boats, scramblers, all sorts of things. Yeah. He did a 1:53.3. Okay. Also never driven a race car before, never been on a simulator before. Holy shit. Okay.
Is that bad or good? That makes me nervous even more.
I don't know how you could have driven like this. You did a 141.
141? No, it can't be a 41, Peter.
No, hang on a second.
Yeah, now you're making me too excited.
A 144.
Okay.
What did this Twig do? 144.5.
Okay, so it's in a 44.
You did a 144.1. You are now the current leader of the hot lap on the Peter van der Spey podcast show, which I've just got the best bloody iRacing driver in the country on my simulator, and he just proved it tonight. And you've raced against Max Verstappen how many times? What? You said it must have been about 20 times.
5,
and you beat
10,
him on
15.
which car?
Mazda at Charlotte Roval.
Oh, I can't believe it. Yeah.
Beat him in a Mazda.
It's unbelievable. Well done. You've done exceptionally well. And your racing stories tonight and how you've come up in your career has been actually something extraordinary.
Thanks, Peter.
And I think you've got an incredible career ahead of you. And, you know, with your dad, which I admire him so much for supporting you and for winning the King of the Hill in this 2025 season at Simola is also an incredible achievement for both you and your team and your dad and Kelly supporting you all the time, chomping at the bit in the pits. And we've got some incredible moments captured, which will be shown on this podcast. And well done, absolutely well done. And
Thanks, Peter. I just want to say thanks to you guys too. I mean, without you, none of this was possible. So you played your role in my story so far. That's a big role there.
Yeah, and
it's a whole year of my life that you played a part in. So thanks to you too. It's been awesome.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure for me, and it's been an honor for me actually to play a role in your meteoric climb in the racing fraternity, and to have this big bits of silverware lurking around on my table here, which will be now proudly presented on your cabinet.
Got a space next to the King of the Hill trophy. It's like the same size.
I mean, if you look at the events, they both rate right up there.
Yeah.
Simola Hillclimb and the South African Endurance Series.
Probably two of our biggest events in South African motorsport at the moment.
Absolutely.
Very well known.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you guys for coming on, and it's been really an honor to sit tonight and chat with you. And thanks for your time that you've put aside to come and do this. And for you guys out there, please subscribe, like, share, get on this thing, and let's make this program grow. 100%. And I've got a bunch of race drivers still to come on, and a couple of extreme sports people to still come onto this program going forward. So keep an eye on it, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys on the track soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. It was amazing.
Great. Thanks, guys.